Ask anyone who invented the airplane and they will say Orville and Wilbur Wright in 1903. We are taught that this is year zero for human flight. We are told that for the entirety of human history, we were chained to the ground, looking up at the birds with envy until two American brothers finally cracked the code. But that history is incomplete. What if I told you that 1,000 years before the Wright brothers were even born, a man in Spain had already done it? He didn't just jump off a cliff for only seconds, he built a machine. He engineered a glider, and he flew in front of a crowd of witnesses. The Wright brothers were not the first, they were just the first to be remembered by the West. To understand the flight, you have to understand the place. This is Cordoba, Andalusia. While London and Paris were mud villages in the dark, Cordoba was the jewel of the world. It had paved streets, streetlights, and the largest libraries on Earth. It was the Silicon Valley of the Middle Ages, and the Steve Jobs of this era was a Berber polymath named Abbas Ibn Firnas. He was a Da Vinci character centuries before Da Vinci was born. He didn't just dabble, he revolutionized. He invented clear glass from sand. He built a planetarium in his basement that simulated thunder and lightning. He invented a metronome to measure time. But he was obsessed with one specific problem: engineering. He wasn't a dreamer, he was an empiricist. He spent decades studying the anatomy of birds. He realized that flight wasn't magic, it was mechanics. It was a battle between two forces, gravity and lift. He believed that if he could build a surface area large enough to catch the air, he could defy gravity. In 875 CE, at the age of 65, he finished his prototype. This was not a cape, it was a glider, a complex framework of lightweight wooden struts covered in silk and real eagle feathers for aerodynamics. He gathered a massive crowd at the Jabal al-Arus, the Mount of the Bride, just outside Cordoba. This is crucial. He didn't do this in secret. He invited witnesses. He wanted this to be a documented scientific experiment. Historical accounts record his speech to the crowd. "Presently, I shall take leave of you. By guiding these wings up and down, I should ascend like the birds. If everything goes right, after soaring for a time, I should be able to return safely to your side." He jumped, and for the first time in human history, a man did not fall, he flew. Accounts state he caught the air currents. He soared over the valley for a significant amount of time, maneuvering his body to stay aloft. It was a triumph of engineering. The impossible had been achieved. But as he prepared to return to the ground, he realized he had made a fatal calculation error. He crashed. He slammed into the ground, sustaining serious injuries to his back. He survived, but he was in agony. Why? What went wrong? As he lay recovering, analyzing the flight data in his mind, he realized the mistake. Birds don't just use wings to fly, they use their tails to land. The tail acts as a brake, creating drag to slow down for a controlled descent. Ibn Firnas had built the engine, the wings, but he had forgotten the brakes, the tail. Critics might call this a failure. Scientists call it data. That crash was the single most important lesson in early aviation. Ibn Firnas proved that human flight was possible, but he also proved that stability was just as important as lift. He lived for another 12 years after the crash. He wrote books about his experience. Those books traveled from Spain to Europe. Roger Bacon, the English philosopher, read about flight from Arab sources. Leonardo da Vinci drew flying machines that looked suspiciously similar to the descriptions of Ibn Firnas's glider. The Wright brothers didn't start from zero. They stood on a mountain of knowledge that began with an old man in Spain who had the courage to jump first. The scientific community knows the truth. That is why on the dark side of the moon, there is a massive impact crater named Ibn Firnas. There is an airport in Baghdad named after him. There are bridges in Spain named after him. We are told history belongs to the victors, but the Haqq, the truth, is that history belongs to the innovators, regardless of where they were born or how they prayed. Abbas Ibn Firnas taught us that the sky is not the limit, it is just the beginning. This is the history they hid from you, and we are going to find it all.